Thursday, my favorite day of the week. Lunch and News with DotSale. Let's get into it. Yeah. We got another one in the books. I'm still tripping off missing. What day was that week? Was it Wednesday? I think that was Tuesday. We missed Tuesday. I don't like that. Can't wait to get the makeup showing. I'll work overtime. I'm cool with that. It's fine with me. I'm willing to put the work in. I've been having some strange days though. This week has been very strange. Like, you know, outside of the show, right? Like, outside of what's going on with the show, you know, just like real life. I mean, the show is real. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm actually here. I'm not AI. I'm not AI created. I'm a real person and all that. But it's also like, you know, it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and this week has just been crazy. But my thing about it is like I'm looking forward to Halloween so much, and we got one day left, and the Halloween show is gonna be insane, y'all. So like honestly, like if you don't want to miss a show this year, you don't want to miss the Halloween show. I got a lot of fun things that we're gonna do. It's gonna be all Halloween themed, and we'll talk about a few other things because there was some things that we need to get to this week that we didn't get a chance to get to, as well as today. Because like today, we're gonna jump right into the main topic pretty much, just because I'm on time constraints. So even on the main topic, I can't really get to it like I want to, as far as this whole pet parent thing, pets being abandoned, pet parents struggling, the whole situation. But we're still going to cover it, and we'll probably go into a part 2 on it, probably somewhere in the next week. And yeah, but so let me go ahead and get straight into the food. Let me get y'all fed. Let's go here. Let's go here. Was this the right one? Oh, I had 2. Yeah, I had 2 for y'all on this one. All right, so this is the first time ever I'm going to give y'all dessert first, and we're going to have it tomorrow too. Glass cheesecake. All right, I hooked y'all up. Y'all got early Halloween treat. Let's get it. We're not done yet though. We got one more. Let's check it out. I got to give y'all some real food. Well, I don't know if most of the food we've been having for Halloween has not actually been real food. I take that back. It's pretty much been a lot of food that isn't healthy, because usually we go pretty healthy for the most part. However, we've made an exception for the last couple of weeks. So we gotta lose some weight going into next week, all right? Then we got Thanksgiving coming up. We're gonna have some really good meals during the month of November. Pizza dough. All right, go ahead and skip up a little bit. Cheese fondue. Cheese fondue. Does that look overcooked though? When I was seeing this, I'm like, why are the edges so crispy and burnt looking? I guess that's part of the whole Halloween theme. We'll leave it right. Actually, let me see. Do we got anything else? I want to bring it here. Let's go a little bit up. Let's go right there. Can we get it with the bone? I guess we're gonna have to leave it there. Let's leave it there with the bone. And, you know, I think that's good. Yeah. So help yourself to some blood and glass cheesecake along with the fondue with the bones that you can dip it into. Yep, help yourself to as much as you would like. I'm always gonna take care of y'all. Should we go off? We'll go regular color. We'll go regular color. I did have a couple things that we're gonna get to beforehand. Well, just one thing. I just wanted to talk about the shutdown a little bit more because we're 2 days removed, and Louisiana is in dire straits as they talk about this. So they're saying they're going into a state of emergency over looming SNAP benefits pause.
As the U.S. government shutdown drags on, think about this. Maybe even picture the people in your own neighborhood. 1 in 8 Americans count on federal food assistance. Now, come November 1, that all goes away if Congress can't get the government up and running again. To Louisiana now, where the worry is real. And CBS News' Katie West. Katie, a large portion of the people that you talk to there in Louisiana rely on that food assistance. What are they saying?
Absolutely. About 800,000 people in the state of Louisiana rely on SNAP benefits or food stamps, and that benefit may run out come November 1st. However, Louisiana, like Virginia, has taken a rare step to issue a state of emergency to be able to keep those funds moving forward. And that's something that has some people relieved, but feeling still very skeptical as millions of Americans across the country today are gearing up for this November 1st deadline when SNAP benefits are expected to run out. Food banks here in New Orleans have been slammed over the last few days, I'm told. In fact, they were already stretched pretty thin with many federal layoffs.
Are y'all going to food banks to try to supplement yourself over this shutdown? Not necessarily just because you're losing EBT, but a lot of people, there's a lot of government jobs out there, right? So a lot of people are just are laid off or, well, I guess furloughed, or, they're on pause and they're not getting their checks, or they're working for free, however you want to look at it. So you might need to go there just for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with going to food banks, honestly. And if people don't go to food banks, the food just gets wasted anyways, especially if it's produce or, things that have expiration dates. So I think it's all good.
And budget cuts to the USDA SNAP.
You don't have to be
program.
Too proud to go to a food
so
bank.
Food banks were already having a tough time. But then on top of that, there were people who are now trying to stock up in expectation for potentially losing their benefits at the end of the week. I spoke with one man who just graduated nursing school. He just passed his nursing test, so he got his licensure. He's still looking for jobs and has been on food stamps throughout his nursing school program to feed his 2 twin daughters who are 11 years old. He told me that he came to the food bank just to make sure that he has enough food to put on the table for them next week. Take a listen to what he had to say, as well as a food bank distributor.
The unsecurity of next month. I don't know if I'm going to have food stamps, or I may have it or I may not. But
you ain't gonna have it as far as what's going on now. And even if they open the government today, people wouldn't you're not getting food stamps on the 1st no matter what. If they open today, the food stamps wouldn't be distributed in time. It's probably gonna take, experts said, anywhere from like 3 to 10 days. So probably somewhere in between, probably about 5 days to even get your food stamps. So it ain't coming on the 1st for nobody. It's too late now. But do you think we're actually gonna see mass starvation at this point because of the food stamp shortage? That's what I'm wondering. Can food stamps just being cut off actually have people literally famine in the streets, just dying of starvation, ribs showing, just suffering? Is it gonna get that bad? It's hard to believe, but I guess it's possible, but it's unlikely. I don't know.
I know for one thing, my kids have to eat. So a good parent does whatever it takes to provide for their kids.
It will bring more crime because people are going to feel like I have to get it how I get it.
It's kind of weird because the people that are going to commit crime to get food are probably the people that were already committing crime or already fringe criminals. So I don't necessarily think the person that's never committed a crime in their life that is on food stamps or receiving government assistance is all of a sudden going to be out committing anarchy in the streets and purging and just losing their minds. The criminals might become a little more brazen, but these are the people that were already criminals. So, I don't really think that. I had another one, but I think we can skip this one. All right, so yeah, because we're on somewhat of a time constraint. When we get into these topics, a lot of times we end up going over. So let's go ahead and get into our main topic. But first, because it's Halloween themed, before we get into the pets and the issues going on there, I want to talk about, or I want to show some of the cool pet costumes that we have. I'm going to have to mute it because it's copyrighted music. So let's go back to it. Check out some of these costumes real quick. They was playing Monster Mash in the back. Let me see. What y'all think about these costumes? That's fire right there. That's fire right there. I don't know how they did that. He do look like a bottle of Coke. Is that the shark doo-doo-doo-doo-doo? Ambulance dog? Was that the Shiba Inu dog, bro? Hold on, go back. Is that Shiba Inu dog? I just invested some money into you. Crypto dog. Got the dog, got the battery on the dog's back. He probably howling because that battery cooking his ass. Turned him to a hot dog. All right, let's check this one out real quick. This one's cool. There's some really cool costumes here for the animals. Oh, we've seen that one. This one's different, though. Let me turn that down. Oh. Why do I always got this stupid music in the background? The vacuum dog? Okay, we've seen this one. There's some different ones in here, too, though. What artist is that? That's Britney Spears. That's fire right there. How did they get so many of them? Bruh. I'm surprised they were all able to stand still like that. That is a fire costume. Hold on. We got to go back to that. This is fire. We got the UPS dog. Was FedEx there? Hold on. Did they have FedEx? Where FedEx at? Oh, we just got two UPS and one UPS and two USPS. FedEx is feeling left out. We got to have at least one FedEx, dog. FedEx is falling off, though. It's like UPS is taking all of FedEx's deliveries. FedEx used to use Amazon a lot, and then Amazon began to use their own service, their own delivery service. Okay, that was fire. That was fire. I had to check out some of the dog Halloween costumes because, I think it's really cool. And we're going to look at some really, really fun costumes tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's going to be super fun. It's all Halloween themed. We're doing everything Halloween tomorrow. It's going to be a big blowout in celebration. And then I'm going to reveal to y'all what I'm going to do for Halloween. I'm going to let y'all know what I'm going to do. All right, before we get into this whole pet talk, I want to start out and show how a cat that the owner dropped it off at the vet actually escaped and found its way home over 3 miles away, which seems almost impossible. However, this cat made it happen. And then also, I actually seen this happen with a friend of mine. She actually tried to get rid of her pet, and she didn't want to put it in a vet, so she gave it to a friend, and the friend was incompetent and let the cat escape, and the cat was like 5 miles away. It took the cat 3 weeks, but the cat actually found its way back to her house. And then she was like, you can just stay with me. So she ended up keeping the cat, and the cat's very happy. But it took the cat like 3 weeks to get back, like honestly. And it makes about that much sense. So let's go ahead and watch this story. I think it was cool just to start out with.
If Disney ever makes another sequel to Homeward Bound, we've got a nominee for the role of Sassy the cat. George lives with a family in Lakeland, and after a recent trip to the vet for a little surgery, he decided to check himself out of the animal hospital early. As Fox 13's Evan Moon tells us, George was homeward bound, even though home was 3 miles away.
Where's George?
This courageous cat has a tale to tell.
He was able to pop that cage open, and he sprung out of there, and he was gone in seconds.
George the cat went to SPCA, Florida to get neutered, but turned into a feline fugitive on an impossible mission. Escaping from staff and into the record books of backyard legends.
George was able to bust out of the trap, and he literally scaled some dog fencing and went into the woods. And our staff were literally hoisting each other up over the fences to try to chase George to capture him.
The SPCA employees ran off into the woods to find him, and they're not going to chase down a cat. That's not going to happen.
And George, even for a cat, wasn't thinking clearly.
So he still had silly drugs in his system.
But miraculously, days later, George made it miles back home to his parents. His owner describes his journey.
If I had got stuck at the SPCA, I would have called an Uber. All right, but George didn't have that option. But coming back from there, he has to go through 2 or 3 subdivisions. He has to go around the lake, another lake that's between us and the SPCA, and probably 5 or 6 roads.
A cat behavioralist explained their incredible internal navigation.
So evolutionarily, they've evolved to be able to naturally find that way back. And we think that of scent or visual markers and possibly geomagnetism.
And the truth is, they love their humans.
Contrary to popular belief, cats are very attached to us, so they will want to find their way back home eventually.
And it's certain, George's human loves him too.
So I was distraught. I was heartbroken. He needed a human touch, and that's what he got.
Evan Moon, Fox 13 News.
Did they say how long it took him to get back? That's a long trek. Cats are quick, but they're quick in bursts. I don't think they can just gallop and run like at a high rate of speed just over a prolonged amount of time. But they're very agile, quick. But, I thought that was a really cool story. And being that I've actually heard it anecdotally too, I think it actually has to do. What was the reasons he said that they can usually find their way back again? Scent, visual markers. He said a couple other things.
Evolutionarily, they've evolved to be able to naturally find that way back. And we think that it's due to a combination of scent or visual markers and possibly geomagnetism.
And the truth is,
geomagnetism, what is that?
Judge my physical and mental as well as my mental fitness.
I don't know what geomagnetism is. All right, let's go into. Oh, do I want to do that? Yeah, let's start here.
Adopted a new pet during the pandemic, but now animal advocates are reporting an increasing number of pets being abandoned at shelters or left in parks or the countryside. The Toronto Humane Society says more than 40,000 animals are given up by their owners every year in Ontario. So for a closer look at what's happening, we're joined this morning by Executive Director of Animal Justice, Camille Labchuk. Good morning. Welcome to Your Morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
We know there was a rise in Canadians adopting and buying pets during the pandemic. According to a survey that was done by Purina in 2021, more than 3.7 million Canadians adopted, purchased, or fostered a pet during that time. So what are the factors that are leading to people abandoning their pets at shelters and parks?
Well, Anne-Marie, I think there's likely 2 things. The first thing is that 3 years ago, we were all at home all of the time, and we had so much love and so much time, and frankly, more income in the case of most people to give toward an animal, and adopting an animal seemed like a natural choice. People are now going back to the offices. Our lives have returned to somewhat normal stages, so that's changed. The second thing, of course, is that we've got rising interest rates and rising inflation. People are finding that they have less money in their bank accounts and their pocketbooks. And unfortunately, owning an animal can be quite expensive. They require veterinary care. They require adequate nutrition. They require not just time, but money as well. And so I think you're seeing people having less time and having less money, and that leading them to make this unfortunate decision.
Camille, there was a lot of stories happening, at least around the city of Toronto, of pets being found that were left abandoned. We know this is happening in other provinces too. What happens to the animals once they're found?
Well, if they're very lucky, they're found quickly before they have been ravaged too much by the weather and before they starve to death, and they're rehabilitated and hopefully rescued and adopted into another home. If they're not lucky, they spend months outside, slowly starving to death and picking at garbage and other food until their bodies just can't take it anymore. So, it's really never appropriate to abandon a pet.
Okay, so there's a couple things here. Are the majority of pet owners actually just selfish and just trying to fulfill their own needs and using the pets as an emotional crutch as they try to get through a certain amount of time? Now, this story that we're watching right now is about 2 years ago. So this is, and what they were saying in the story is a lot of people were getting pets during the pandemic, some people will call it. And so basically after that, they got their needs filled. I actually had I had a woman that was like, we were going in the pandemic, and she was like, do you want to be in a relationship with me just because we're on lockdown and I can't stand to be alone? And I was like, what? What
do you mean?
I was like, what are you talking about? And she was serious, and she ended up quickly jumping to some other gump. I love you. And, they were together for the pandemic, and then she quickly discarded him afterwards and, got her fix during that time when the lockdowns were happening and everything. But what they're saying is that, we've seen this for many different reasons. Now, with the economic situation that we have going on at this point, would that point to a lot of the reasons why we're seeing pets being abandoned and different things like that at this time? Government shutdown looming, EBT and SNAP and all that on the way out. And so now you're seeing that a lot of people are moving around a little bit different with their pets. And, it's a crisis right now. It's a crisis for the animals. And me personally, I'm an advocate for the animals, right? The animals are they're helpless in this situation. Oftentimes they didn't ask to be put in the situations that they are with these humans that, oftentimes use them as, just an emotional support animal where, they're kind of abused in a way just from the fact that they are ran around and put in situations that they necessarily wouldn't want to be in under every other circumstance, but they understand that it's the only way that they're going to survive and they need food. All right, so I want to look at, we can watch the rest of this, and then I want to look at some videos on TikTok.
They just don't have the skills that they need to survive in the wild, and certainly not in the northern climate in the winter.
You believe the government needs to regulate pet ownership and animal shelters closely. What would that look like?
Yeah, that's right. So one of the problems right now, the reason that we have such a surplus of pets on the marketplace, if you want to look at it in commodity terms, is because we allow in this country pretty much everywhere unregulated breeding of pets. That includes dogs, that includes cats, that includes animals like reptiles as well, and rabbits and guinea pigs and hamsters that we think of less often. And so breeders stepped in during the pandemic when they knew they could make thousands of dollars by breeding dogs and selling those puppies. And, that's one of the reasons that we have so many animals now who are, overflowing at shelters and in need of homes is because of this unregulated breeding. So I think government urgently needs to step in and set caps on breeding, eliminate some of the worst puppy mills and backyard breeders and places like reptile breeders and small animal breeders, and, really act in the public interest so that animals are the ones who pay the price when humans adopt too many of them and then no longer want them.
If there is someone out there thinking of
That's crazy, bruh. So you can just adopt a pet and then no longer want it and just discard it. And that's the difference between, when they'll talk about pet parents and real parents, it's not the same, bruh. Because if you discard your actual human child in the streets, there's going to be ramifications and there's going to be consequences for it. For the father, they definitely can't do it unless they want to be financially obligated and responsible for the rest of their lives on child support. And then the mother, she can deal with some things too, although it's usually a lot easier for her to get rid of her kid without financial burden being placed on her, especially if the father's not around. So I want to look at, some some videos of pets being abandoned and, how sad it actually is. Let's check it out.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What the hell is this?
What the actual fuck?
Terrible language.
Baby.
How long I've been talking for? I've been on here for 25 minutes. I ain't say a single cuss word. And the first word out of this woman's mouth is back. Nah, we ain't doing that. All right, let's go here real quick. Let's see what this one is. We got this cat right here abandoned. 4 weeks outside. They've been feeding him, but that cat looks crazy. I ain't gonna lie, he might attack you, get too close to him. He gonna bite you.
Hey, Papas. It's all right. Looks like someone abandoned you. So yeah, you're shivering, you're scared. Poor thing. I'll take you in and I'll feed you. Just don't be scared, okay?
That cat right there is
It's all right, buddy. It's all right.
when a cat acts like that, that's a domesticated house cat.
Pet you, you're just hissing. It's okay. It's okay. You're scared.
That cat's scared of flies. You can tell that cat's been in the home its whole life.
Water, and I got you this. Why are you hissing, huh?
You can tell an alley cat
It's all right.
and a domesticated house cat very easily. They're much different. That cat was hissing not because it was being aggressive, because it was scared.
Okay, you're a beautiful cat. You're a beautiful baby.
Shout out to this guy bringing in the cat, making sure that it's good.
Right?
I think, does the cat end up?
Oh, if you so soft.
Let's see.
How the rug feels?
Yeah. Abandon that poor cat like that. That's crazy, man. The heartlessness of people in this world is insane.
Hi, babies. Are you guys okay?
These poor dogs, man. Somebody just tied these dogs up and just left them there. It's crazy, man. I thought you're supposed to leave abandoned dog. Listen, if we really look at dogs like we look at kids, you're supposed to leave them at a fire station, not chained up at a park. It's crazy. I think I got one more. This is the harsh reality of it, man. This is the harsh reality of what happens when you allow your dog to be abandoned. So I want all you people out there that are buying these animals and you don't even care about the animals. You literally are just trying to fulfill your own self gratification, your own selfish needs, all at the expense of these poor, innocent creatures. Right? That's just the dogs. All right. Let me see. How do I want to look at this? Let's go to you want to Okay, this is kind of crazy. Let's check this out. We got a woman here where she's going to begin to talk about losing a pet is worse than losing a human. How do y'all feel about this one? Let's check it out.
My most controversial hot takes about owning an animal. The grief of pet loss is equivalent to the grief of a human loss. I'm done seeing people lose their pets and then people being like, oh, you're so dramatic. It's just a dog. It's just a cat. These animals are a core piece of our lives. Hot take number 2 is related to hot take number 1, but losing your dog is worse than losing a family member like a grandma. Your grandmama lives on the other side of the country. You see her twice a year. Your dog is in your life every day. Your life revolves around them. You wake up and you feed them. You take them out. You walk them. You cuddle them. You love on them. Your dog is a greater loss than the family member that you see twice a year. And for my most controversial hot take of the day, I can love my dog as much as you love your human child. Everyone says, oh, wait until you have a human child. Like you'll find a different type of love. No. Like I love that dog with every particle of my being. I would die for her. I would throw people in front of a bullet for her. I would throw my own family members in front of a bullet for her. That is my child. I love her as much as you love your human child.
And when she says this, believe her. When she says that she will literally kill a human being to save her dog, she means it. She 100% means it. And the crazy part about it is the people agree with her. The people have spoken. So we're going to go ahead and look at the comments, which we don't do very often because I don't think they necessarily matter in the grand scheme of things. But I want to look at them in this standpoint. So let me actually see if I can adjust this a little bit because I want to be able to pull the comments up. I might have to, let me see. Let's do it like this. I'll just do it like this. This is fine. And then we'll just blow it up like that. Because the comments on this one were interesting. Let's go. Why is it cropped like that? All right, let's leave it there. All right, so look, let's check out the comments real quick. Pet loss can be worse than human. With humans, you have complex emotions, but with pets, it's only pure love. Well, what we heard earlier is that, you know, people were buying pets just as emotional support animals during COVID and at different points. And when that money starts to dry up and they ain't clocking like they were before, then old Fido, nah, we're gonna have to get rid of you because we gotta look out for ourselves first.
What the dog doing?
I'd eat my entire family to keep my baby girl with me forever. Whole family, gone. One fell swoop. She clapping everybody. You. Mom, I'm sorry I gotta do this to you, but it came down to me or Fido. Hold on, let me see. Often with pet loss, often you have to be the one to make that decision, and that weighs heavy on you when you think on their death. I ain't gonna lie, that's true though. It's a lot of, I've experienced people that have had pet loss and they can't give it up. And the crazy part about it is when you think about pet loss, it can be multiples, right? They have multiple like ghost pet babies that they've been through because, you know, on average, they could live anywhere from like 8 to 15 years, but usually it's a lot less than that because they're not taken care of very well. Not from a standpoint of like they're not in shelter, but they feed them weird foods and, you know, often they're neglected and different things like that unintentionally. And, you know, you end up with the situation where, you know, you run through and then because after you lose a pet, you basically just get another one to replace that one, but then you never give up the last one. So you just like build up all these different bodies on your conscience. It gets kind of sick, actually. All right, anyways, my dog has lymphoma, and I've already cried more anticipating her demise than when my grandma lost her life. Wow. Sorry, grandma. So it's getting kind of demonic, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and just look at you know, this lady here and just understand that, look, when they're saying these things, you got to believe them. And look.
Most controversial hot takes about owning an animal.
1 second.
The grief of pet loss is equivalent to the grief of a human loss. I am done seeing people lose their pets and then people being like, oh, you're so dramatic. It's just a dog. It's just a cat. These animals are a core piece of our lives.
My bad. I had to go check something.
Hot take number 2 is related to hot take number 1, but losing your dog is worse than losing a family member like a grandma. Your grandmama lives on the other side of the country. You see her twice a year. Your dog is in your life every day. Your life revolves around them. You wake up and you feed them. You take them out. You walk them. You cuddle them. You love on them. Your dog is a greater loss than the family member that you see twice a year. And for my most controversial hot take of the day, I can love my dog as much as you love your human child. Everyone says, oh, wait until you have a human child, like you'll find a different type of love. No. Like, I love that dog with every particle of my being. I would die for her. I would throw people in front of a bullet for her. I would throw my own family members in front of a bullet for her. That is my...
Yeah, that's one of the things too, like, you know, you look at it, like the human child and the human dog that you both consider as your babies, like, person has an actual human child, right? It's kind of weird speaking like that, but all right, for the sake of speaking on this, you got a dog that you consider a baby or your baby, right? It's kind of strange because, like, that dog's life expectancy is like 1/8 of the kid. So your child is going to end up losing its life before you, which is very unnatural, and that's part of it. Let's go ahead and go into a couple of these. Let's see.
I will never understand the people that think it's actually an insult when they comment on one of my videos and say, like, oh, millennial dog culture is getting out of control and you guys love your dogs too much. They're not babies. Like, 9 times out of 10, that comment's coming from a generation that is currently at IHOP yelling at their server for overcooking their bacon. One of the same. We're different. Like, I'm sorry. Do you want me to go chain my dog up in the backyard? Will that make you feel better? Is that more normal? I almost forgot. I don't have a backyard because I can't afford it because I'm a millennial and we were born into economic crisis. We also can't afford to have children, so apologies. We get the lines blurred a little bit between raising our dogs and having children. Just let us buy our bandanas and our overpriced dog food. It's not that deep. Have you seen what's happening in the world today? Okay. Millennials loving their dogs too much should be the least of our concerns. We also forgotten about the sheer amount of crap our generation has gone through in our very young 20 to 30 years of life. Us treating our dogs like children is probably a trauma response. And by probably, I mean it definitely is. If loving our dogs is a crime, guilty. Lock us up. I will never understand.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, what she said, I don't see anything wrong with it. Me as a millennial, I think it's totally fine. My thing is this though. If you start to equate the two, like when you start to equate dog life and human life against each other, it begins to blur the lines a little bit of what your perception of reality is. I want to look at this one. Yeah, let's check this one out.
Like, what's going on? What the fuck is biting on your ass? Because I took you to the dog park yesterday and I don't have no motherfucking time. Because I kill a motherfucker over you. Right. Even a motherfucking flea. I seen you back here scratching. You even twist your ass around to scratch that. What was it? Point them out. Because I kill a motherfucker over you, maybe. I kill a motherfucker over you, baby. I'm not playing. What was it? If it was a flea, bitch, you got to die. Don't fuck with mine. So I don't fucking play that shit. I will fucking dig your eyes out over this one. You good? We good now? Show me who did it. Where is it at? It's good, huh? Because I don't fucking play that shit, Teddy, over you. I will fucking, man, you don't even understand. If I gotta search through every fucking hair looking for a motherfucking tick, flea, I will kill that bitch. I don't play that shit over you. Took you to the dog park yesterday, and yeah. Don't fucking play. We good? Long as me and you good, we good? Love you. Charlie, I don't know what I would do without you, and I don't fuck around. When it come to you, I don't play that shit. I'm telling you.
So what do you think about like the emotional, like, because I've actually seen people that like they lost their dogs and they've had to go to therapy ever since. Like it's literally like destroyed their entire lives. Do you think that the connection that they're having with pets, which is usually going to be an unnatural thing, is an issue? Or do you think it just kind of like is what it is? Because like realistically, and I had this friend, right? She had a dog. The dog was completely insane, right? Like not like Well, it might have been mentally insane. If the dog was a human, the dog would have been mentally insane. But anyways, so basically, the dog was like, every time she would leave, it would tear everything up. So like, even like when she would go, she'd have to like start stuffing it in a kennel. And she considered this dog as her child, right? So it was kind of a weird thing because she couldn't go and do the things that she would do with a child with a dog. So when she had to go do like human things where, you know, usually you could bring your human child with you and, you know, it'll be all good, she had to leave the dog. So she would leave the dog in the kennel and the dog would basically like, you know, use the bathroom in the kennel, tear everything up, oftentimes break out of the kennel, destroy the entire house. And then every time she'd have company over, the dog would actually go crazy. Like it'd be howling and she'd have to put the dog in the garage and all that, and you could still hear the dog bellowing in the garage. I actually experienced this myself when I went over one time, but she was explaining other stories of how it just was getting worse and worse. So she actually took the dog to dog therapy. Yeah, that's a real thing, dog therapy. So dog goes to dog therapy, right? And first off, it took her like 5 months to get into dog therapy. I didn't even know this was a thing at the time until she told me about it. It costed her 12 G's to put the dog through a session of dog therapy. Okay. Now, somehow, I guess the dog therapy worked in a way, and the dog started to begin to be a little bit more, the dog was almost the abusive one at this point. Usually it's the humans that abuse the pets. This dog was absolutely an emotional wreck, right? And she was going crazy, just crying because like it would like basically guilt trip her every time she left the house and all that. Like be like, so every time she leave the house, the dog would basically start crying and then she wouldn't even leave. So she was canceling dates. She couldn't have any good human interaction because every time she was around somebody, the dog would mess everything up. So cool. So she takes dog to dog therapy. Now, it was strange because the dog actually started to act a little bit better after that. I didn't know dog therapy worked, but I guess it did in this situation. So she's 12 G's in the hole on a credit card that she's paying the minimum on, catching all kind of interest. So now this 12 G's is turning like 15 to 16,000. She's literally in debt probably to this day. This was probably like about 4 years ago when I heard about this. So she might be out of the debt by now, but I doubt it. So anyways, situation keeps going, right? Dog's doing a little bit better. They're working on some things. They're working on the things they learned in pet therapy. She has one of her friends that has their dog and they wanted to like go over, like leave the country or whatever. And the dog that she got was actually from the same kennel, her other friend or whatever. I think it was her sister. So she said, you know what? It'll be good for my dog to be around its sibling. So when you leave out of the country, I'll take your dog in. So now she has a dog from the same litter. They're basically like brothers or whatever, pseudo brothers. And she brings that dog over. So the new dog comes over and corrupts the dog that she took to dog therapy that was a little bit better. And then the dog went right back into what it was doing before, but became 10 times worse to the point where he started getting jealous of the new dog that came that's actually his sibling that should have the same scent and everything, and was tearing that dog up, almost killed the other dog. It's craziness, right? Like it was and these aren't even like aggressive dogs. It was like, I forgot what kind of dog it was. I'll look it up and let y'all know later. So dog ends up getting into it with him, but then, you know, whatever. She got through the month with that. After that dog left, the dog went right back into its old ways. So she actually, after all this, went back to dog therapy, spent another 12 grand. Dog ends up going to dog therapy and it didn't work. The therapist just threw her hands up. It was like, there's nothing I can do for this dog. So she ended up having to give the dog up. She sends the dog off to a farm, found a nice farm for the dog. So the dog ended up at a farm where it's like outside most of the time because the dog couldn't be in the house. The dog was basically like, but she has such an attachment to the dog, right? that she was destroyed. I mean, like literally to the point where I couldn't even talk to her anymore because everything was about the dog. It was just like, it was like she equated it to like having a miscarriage. Like it was crazy, right? She was like, I lost my kid and I know it was the right thing to do because I couldn't keep up with it, and you know, being a single mother, and like she was going crazy, right? Like whole mental just destroyed. Anyways, after that, dog goes out. She ended up having to go to therapy for herself for the dog, which is ongoing, I'm assuming. And so it was just crazy. But so when that all goes back to like when they lose the dog, then they end up at a point where it's like, oh, you know what? I'm destroyed over the dog. And should you have that type of emotional connection to an animal? That's the question. All right, so let's go ahead and look at, I don't know. Don't want to look at that. Oh, you know what? Let me check this guy out because he said some things that I thought were a little bit interesting. And I want to look at a few more. Then we got how much time do I got? Yeah, we're on time constraints. I got a lot I want to get to on this topic, but we're going to have to probably shorten it by about 30%. All right, let's do this. Let's do this one.
A lot of people are not going to be happy to hear this, but this is my hot take. I think it's so much more difficult to be a pet parent, so much harder than to be a human.
Let's see if this guy's talking logic.
To a human child. So let me explain. First of all, it's very much socially acceptable to bring your kids everywhere, take them to restaurants, take them to movie theaters. I mean, literally, that's, you know, you do things with your kids, right? Not the same with dogs. You know, certain places don't allow dogs, and so you have to leave them at home. Similarly, it's so much harder to find pet sitters, and good pet sitters at that, for your dog versus finding a babysitter for your child. You know, you have a 100-pound German Shepherd. Not everyone's going to be willing to pet sit for you, right? You need a specific person with specific skill sets and experiences to pet sit that 100-pound German Shepherd. On the other hand, you could just call mom or dad, you know, your brother, your sister to watch your 2-year-old. So much easier. Thirdly, no matter how old your dog gets, they are mentally a toddler. You know, it could be a 15-year-old dog and still they operate the same way as a toddler, as a human toddler would, you know. They can't communicate, you know, they can't communicate the same way that
he was about to say English, bro.
At least with a human child, you know, after 4 or 5 years, you know, they'll start to develop language and they can communicate with your parent, with you as a parent. I mean, sure, you can teach your dog commands and everything, but
commands
they
is
can't
crazy.
Communicate the same way that a child will learn to communicate with their parent. Lastly, it's physically more demanding to own a dog. You know, taking them out on walks, being able to catch up with them. Dogs can run 20, 30 miles an hour, and you're going to have to be able to catch up with them. Not only that, you know, they'll need constant walks, taking them out to potty and everything. Whereas a toddler, you know, toddlers can't run 20, 30 miles per hour. Baby Jason, you know, can't run that fast. And so there's a certain physicality that's needed, and that's required from owning a dog.
Baby Jason, yo, he just got crazier and crazier as he went on. The 20, 30 miles an hour is crazy, bro. Low-key, though, dogs are fast as hell. Not all of them. The little short, little mini, little small dogs, they're slow and, like, just kind of don't do much. But, yeah, the bigger dogs, yeah, they gallop and they run fast. But, actually, you know what? Back in the 90s, like, a lot of people used to have their kids on leashes. Like, they put their kids on leashes like dogs because they couldn't control them. So, you know, that's kind of an equivalent, right? But, yeah. Having to walk your child on a leash is a little bit barbaric. What do you think about some of the points that he made, though? He made some pretty good points. I want to go ahead and go Let me see. Do I got, what was this? I think I got an opposing side to him. Oh no, is he? Let's check this one out.
I feel like nobody really talks about this on social media, but can we normalize like the real life dog moms? Like, I'll be honest, and there are definitely days where I just couldn't find the time to take Common out and exercise him. There are also days where he doesn't get fed till like 9 o'clock at night. And on a few occasions, like, he has been left in his crate for 5-6 hours. Obviously, all these situations are not ideal, but I don't think this realistic side of dog parenting is talked about that much on social media. Obviously, we all do our best to take care of our dogs the best way we know how, but there are going to be days where we're not perfect, and that's okay. So if you can relate to this, you're not alone. Don't let social media make you feel like you're a bad dog parent or a bad dog mom. We're all just doing our best out here. I feel like nobody really talks about this on social media.
And why can't we get the label dog dad? You see what she did there? No, listen to her slight the guys.
Make you feel like you're a bad dog parent or a bad dog mom.
Yeah, no, you heard her right there. You a bad dog parent or a bad dog mom. Why we can't be dog dad and dog mom? It's crazy, man. The guys are getting completely isolated out of the conversation. But she said some things that were interesting. So she calls herself a dog mom.
Also days where he doesn't get...
But she also said there's times where she doesn't even feed her dog, or she leaves him in a cage or a kennel too long. So imagine if this woman had a human child and she had this same type of philosophy as the way that she should treat a child, because she thinks of her dog as a child. And she says this with a straight face, and she has no type of issues with what she's saying. That's going to actually put me into this video of the more recent situation where dogs are beginning to be abandoned. Let's check it out.
One might decide having a pet isn't right for them. Maybe it's a lack of time, energy, or money. But if you already have a pet and later find yourself in a situation like that, your options may feel limited. And unfortunately, people may resort to abandoning their pets. I visited one animal shelter in Wapello County that has seen an increase in animal abandonment cases, and workers say it's causing new problems.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna let this one play out.
Olivia was adopted from a Fairfield animal shelter, but now she lives at the Heartland Humane Society in Ottumwa.
She was just dumped out in the middle of the field.
Assistant Manager Courtney Monahan says, unfortunately, Olivia's story is an all too common one at the shelter.
It just keeps getting worse. It's like people get animals and they don't realize what it all entails.
Having your pet spayed or neutered, keeping up with vet visits, pet supplies, all of those costs add up. And with the current economy, pet owners may be forced to make difficult decisions.
We've had a lot of dogs surrendered to us, so at least they did it the nice way, but with health issues because they can't afford to take care of it. So some people, I think, are too ashamed, so they just dump them.
She says in the past month alone, the Wapello County Animal Control brought about 37 animals to the shelter. That doesn't include the pets they take in from the surrounding counties. Because of the staggering increase, they've been at capacity for a while.
People are dumping them, just random places, or they're just tying them up places. I even found a dog right up the street, right here at this next building.
At the society, strays, animals left alone in abandoned buildings, or dumped somewhere usually count as animal abandonment cases. Like Olivia, Chili was also abandoned. Monahan says the number of dogs they had that had been abandoned at the shelter this time last year is not even close to the number they have now, and it's causing new problems.
Once it starts getting cold, everybody's inside one of the two buildings. But right now, we currently still have dogs outside. So that's where we're starting to freak out. We're starting to panic, and we've purchased more kennels. But now we're at the point, yeah, we can do that, but we're running out of space to put these kennels.
Monahan says if you find an abandoned animal in Wapello County, protocol is to call the county's animal control unit. If you find a pet outside county lines, call the sheriff's office. And most importantly of all, make sure you've thought your decision through and have done your research before adopting a pet.
When you get an animal, a cat, a dog, or whatever kind of pet, it's their whole life. That's what people aren't thinking about. What's the worst part of it is that these animals are coming in here not knowing what they did wrong, not understanding what's going on. That's the hardest part.
She says if you can't keep your pet and are thinking about abandoning them, the Humane Society can potentially help you find a shelter somewhere that can take them in, rather than leaving.
So looking at that and then looking at this video, what do y'all think about it?
I feel like nobody really talks about this on social media, but can we normalize like the real life dog moms? Like, I'll be honest, and there are definitely days where I just couldn't find the time to take Common out and exercise him. There are also days where he doesn't get fed till like 9 o'clock at night. And on a few occasions, like, he has been left in his crate for 5-6 hours. Obviously.
Is this the standard for mothers at this point? Dog moms, y'all gonna have to go ahead and holler at me and let me know what's going on. Because, like, you know, this is crazy, bruh. Like, y'all leaving your kid inside of a crate for 3 or 4 hours. Like, y'all ain't feeding the kid. Like, y'all going out of town having them. Overdrive said, believing a dog is, oh, you say you probably insanity. Insanity. Yeah, a couple typos in there. I get what you're trying to say. Yeah, it could be borderline insanity, right? It definitely is delusion at best. But then also, if you think about it, like, how can you really consider yourself a pet parent, but then at the same time, you're willing to do things that are inhumane to a human child, to your pet, i.e., leaving him inside his crate for 5 or 6 hours. She's literally explaining how bad of a mom she is, at the same time saying that she's a good mom. Like, how?
Left in his crate for 5-6 hours. Obviously, all these situations are not ideal, but I don't think this realistic side of dog parenting is talked about that much on social media. Obviously, we all do our best to take care of our dogs the best way we know how, but there are going to be days where we're not perfect, and that's okay. So if you can relate to this, you're not alone. Don't let social media make you feel like you're a bad dog parent.
Okay, so if that's the case, then it would be similar to being like a regular parent. Like, if you're a single parent, your kid is going to struggle. Single mom, you know, but that's what I'm hearing. Like, it needs to be pet parents, right? If you are going to be a single person with a dog, then you're basically going to have to neglect the dog, is what I'm hearing. Which is child abuse. It's child neglect. That's what y'all are doing. But the issue is y'all can't be held liable for it because there's no CPS for dogs. The dog just suffers and you continue to live their life and are trapped in a cage, and that's just the end of it. And then you just brush it off like it's nothing. And, you know, we see some other things. Let me see something real quick. I'll turn this one down. We got some other situations that I'm looking at right now where I'm seeing, you know, the dogs. Now, is this pet abuse right here? Just honestly, is this sexual assault? If you consider this as your kid, right? It's what they just said. They just said this is their kid. However, if you were doing this with your little boy or your little girl, would this not be sexual abuse? I'm just trying to see where the lines begin to get blurred and what's really going on, right? You know, you see the dog looks like he's enjoying it. So, you know, shout out to the dog. The dog ain't got no problem. The dog likes it. The dog likes it. But also, you know, that's your kid though, man. You can't have your kid out here like this. I think I got a couple more. Let me see. What's this one? I don't know what this is. Check it out.
Okay, first of all, there's nothing in this world that I would not do for Cooper. He is literally my baby. That presented two options for us. We could either leave him there overnight for a couple days or bring him home with us. This was a sudden thing. Cooper was fine This happened in the late afternoon after all the vets were closed. And the only one that was open was this 24/7 vet clinic right next to our house. We get him in the car, we go.
I can already tell you this. Anytime that you got to go to a 24/7, like a convenience store, she basically went to a convenience store veterinarian. If it's open 24 hours, it's like, come on, bro. Like, you go in there, it's like 1:30 a.m. They got a bed in the office. When you open a door, the bell jingles, it wakes them up. They drooling out the side of their mouth. They get up in their pajamas. What do you got? What do you got? You bring your dog in there. Cooper, he's hurt. Help me out. He takes the dog.
Over there, first we figured out what was wrong, aspiration pneumonia. Then we were exploring our treatment plans. The doctor presented us with 2 estimates. So the first estimate was $3,500. That was for the inpatient. And the second estimate was the one for outpatient, which was the one we ended up doing for $1,000. We consulted with the doctor and talked about it for literally probably an hour. I would have not taken Cooper home that night if I thought anything bad would happen to him. If we felt like his life was in danger, we would have paid $3,500. My partner and I are in our mid-20s. We have bills to pay. $3,500 is a lot, but we would have came up with it if our baby needed it, okay? And please, like, I get where you're coming from, but please don't judge me or my partner for the way we're trying to go about this. This is our first time with our first dog going through something like this, and I know I should have had insurance, but you guys, like, we're doing the best that we can, and
this proves it, though. They're looking at the dogs like they're experiments, like they're just testing out things. Like, let me just see how this happens. And, you know, if it doesn't work out with this dog, we'll just get us another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you equate something to your kid, but at the same time treat it like it's fringe? Like, it's just like, you know what? Yeah, whatever. We'll go ahead and not do, because I guess she was getting a lot of backlash because she didn't want to do the $3,500 treatment, and she went with the $1,100 treatment to save some money. But your child's life is priceless. There's no amount of money that you can put on it. So you should have did a $3,500 treatment. No, that's what it seems like. That's what the people are saying. Your fellow TikTokers are annihilating you, even though some of them will keep their dog in a kennel for 4 to 5 hours at a time, not feed them. You know, we just seen it. But, you know, when it's not them, and they're looking from the outside in, they're very critical. Where's the love in the dog community? Shouldn't y'all be supporting this woman? It's her first dog. She's gonna make some mistakes, and the dog might end up getting clipped. But the problem is that, you know, it's a learning experience, all right? And the next dog she gets, she'll do better, hopefully. All right, I think I'm gonna look at, I got one more. Let's see what this one is. I don't even know what this one is.
This is just so, we've all been feeling prices going up everywhere. It's been hitting every single one of us. And I think it's called soft economic indicators that we're going into a recession. It's the stuff that's not obvious, clear as day. And one of them was how many families are relinquishing their family pets because they can't afford them anymore. That is skyrocketing. That shelters who are already overburdened are now beyond capacity. People can't afford their pets anymore in this economy, this Trump economy. I have 2 greyhounds. If you guys know anything about greyhounds that have been rescued,
anytime people bring up this Trump economy, I always got to look up and be like, I mean, whether he's doing a good job or not, he's only been in office for like 9 months. He hasn't even really gotten anything in effect. It's hard to say that this economy is his until we're probably, I'd say, like 2 years in. 2 years from now, it's 100% his economy. But right now, it's technically still his predecessor's economy. The same way you could look at it when Biden got into office after Trump the first time. I still looked at it as Trump's economy all the way up until about 16 months into Biden's term. Then it became Biden's economy because these things take a long time to get through. That's why we're in a shutdown right now, because it takes so long and so much red tape and so much litigation and meetings and hearings and all this other stuff to really get anything happening. So, you know, whatever you're dealing with right now is not a direct result of Trump, although it's starting to lean that way. But come on, man, this is now. And pet food prices, does he really affect that? I don't know. This is crazy. Let's hear her out though.
They usually come with digestive issues. So you got to feed them a really higher quality brand of dog food. If you feed them more of your basic line of food, they can clear a room in a nanosecond with their flatulence. I mean, it's bad. And don't even get me started about cleaning up brown liquid in the backyard. I'm sorry to get gross. So we've had to spend a lot of money on higher quality food. I went to the pet store today.
See, this is the problem, man. Like, honestly, like, look, we've been watching a lot of the EBT videos, and obviously there's not going to be any EBT for people coming up this November. But I'll tell you this, when, like, people be buying food for their kids, they get them some of the worst food on the planet. Like, they be feeding their kid McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Arby's, Carl's Jr., In-N-Out, all these different types of places. Ramen noodles is great for kids, kid cuisine, dino chicken nuggets, french fries, everything but fruits and vegetables because they're so expensive. So you don't even feed yourself, or if you have kids, the kids that are human kids, because we're going human and dog kids, you don't even feed them great. But then you're over here talking about, oh, you know what? I need to feed my dog great food because my dog is gonna be like having accidents on the floor and I gotta smell like, it's just like, what are we doing? And then also dog's breath be bad, bro. And y'all gotta start brushing your dog's teeth because they ain't like cats. Cats clean themselves. I don't know how they do it with their own saliva. There's something in it that keeps them clean. Cats be clean as hell. Dogs, nah, not very much. You gotta wash them like they're children, and you also have to clean their teeth and make sure they got good breath. But y'all don't know that because y'all ain't real parents to your dogs.
The food we normally buy is around $60 for just 18 pounds. It's a lot. My husband and I are gainfully employed. We don't have kids that depend on us anymore. We can do it. The dog food has skyrocketed from $65 to up to $85 and even $100 for 18 pounds of food. Everything in this dog food comes from a farm. The meat, the grains, the vegetables. So now I have to sit there and think about this. I've got to go to something less expensive, and it's your regular.
You just got done saying you can afford it. You and your husband just said y'all can afford it. Now you got to go to something less expensive. So either you can afford your dog or you can't. And you just became an empty nester not long ago, as you say, because you got actual human kids. But then you went ahead and had dog kids too. You and your husband birthed them. And now you're over here complaining as if this is the economy's fault. Whatever president you want to blame, Biden, Trump, whatever, Bob Dole, I don't care. At the end of the day, I know one thing the president didn't do. He didn't make you get a damn dog. He didn't make you get a dog. So here you are complaining on TikTok about how pet food prices have skyrocketed. And I want to know how y'all are eating. Because if you're struggling to pay for your dog's food, then I got to imagine that y'all aren't eating very good yourselves.
Dog food that most families they can afford to buy, and it's perfectly okay for their dogs. They don't have these kind of digestive issues. It's more economically friendly. That dog food has skyrocketed by another $20 or so a bag. And most American families can't afford that huge jump. And Magga, this is for you, because I know you guys love your animals too. You guys all own pets. I knew something weird was going on. Our cabin is in the middle of 60 acres. It's in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden these kittens show up. I don't know how they got to our cabin. And then today, 2 dogs, very skinny, just showed up. And I don't know about you guys, if you're seeing all these found dogs, found cat, found dogs, like skyrocketing. People, I know my daughter works at a vet clinic, and a lot of people are skipping on medical care and what have you. Yeah, soft economic indicator, I think it is. It's a real thing.
I don't know what she was trying to get across. I don't know if she was upset with Trump and the current administration. I don't know if she's upset about the prices of dog food. I don't know if she's upset that her dog has digestive issues. She's all over the place, and this is probably the reason why she doesn't need a dog. She needs to hyper-focus on her actual purpose in life and try to figure that out, because at this point, there's more confusion than...
Judge, my physical and mental, my physical as well as my mental fitness.
But the overall part of it is that she's saying that she can't afford her dog, but she's going to keep it and let the dog suffer. That's what I heard as an overall arching point of this. And that's what we've been hearing throughout most of the show from most of the people that we listen to. My thing is this, though. My thing is this. Does your dog care? The dog just wants to, and I'll go as far as to say this. The dogs that these people have that they consider their pets, not all of them. There's a couple of dogs, and usually it has to do with the breed. There's a couple of dogs that are loyal to the end, but I would say it's a small percentage of them. I will give you that. There's a couple of dogs that'll sit there and starve by your side. But I would say most dogs, if you don't feed them, they'll eat you. Yes, your dog, if you don't feed it, will eat you and your cat too. Maybe not the cat. My bad, cats. I like cats. I like certain types of dogs. I don't like the dogs that don't even serve a purpose. They're just there. I like the smart dogs that be like a dog that can go like make your coffee in the morning. Like those type of dogs. Like they can mow the lawn. If there's an intruder, like they'll go ahead and grab the Glock out the closet and get to bussing. I ain't even got to get out of bed. The dog gonna take care of that. Like those are the type of dogs, help me edit my videos. Like I need my dog over there. Like when I'm doing my live stream and I'm trying to go ahead and edit my videos, dog's over there, got his bifocals on, pawing at the keyboard, uploading videos, helpful. Like I don't want to just take care of a dog that doesn't even, all it cares about is just like when it's going to get its next meal and when it begins to stop. Y'all remember what happened in Game of Thrones? What was the dude's name? From the house, the bastard son. You know who I'm talking about. He was the one that had the hounds. And then he was always having the hounds eat his enemies and, eat humans and stuff like that. But then when they got in the war, they caged him in with his own hounds. And he said, my hounds will never, ever turn their back on me. And they said, they haven't eaten in days. His dogs didn't eat in days. He'd raised them. He'd taken care of them. He treated them very well. But they skipped a meal for like 3 days. They started licking his face. Ate him alive. Your dog's only as loyal as his next meal. And it seems like the humans are the same way. So this relationship thing is very, very strange going on with the animals. But we got to stop it here because I got to go. And we got to get to our positive story of the day. Let's go ahead and get into that right now. Oh, where's that? I don't got it queued up. Oh, that ain't it. Hold on real quick. Let me find it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I wonder a lot of the times, like, when we're going to get out of this level of delusion. All right, let's check out this video. UPS worker, 32 years of service. Let's give him the praise he deserves. I think this person's incredible.
Talk about a special delivery.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Oh, gosh.
Can I give you a hug?
That's
and
Jim,
they do too.
the UPS driver who delivers more than just mail. The Withington family in Victoria, Minnesota, going all out to celebrate his final route after 32 years on the job.
They're not customers, they're more friends than anything.
Jim showered with love and gratitude.
That cake is fire. That UPS cake is fire, bruh. Who made that? Shout to the artist.
Showered with love and gratitude on his last day.
It's hard to put into words.
A farewell package for someone who always delivered.
Thanks, everyone.
And shout out to this guy. And, you know, we look at it and we see these people that do the jobs that are selfless, that actually connect our country, that deal with the delivery of goods and services, and they are the people that keep us. A lot of people will look at, you know, delivery people and think that they're less than, but you right now that's waiting to get your DoorDash delivery, if that guy doesn't come, you don't eat. So you need to be giving them praise, and you should also always tip your delivery service people. I was out with somebody, and you know, they want to take me out to eat, right? So I was like, cool, whatever. You know, we go out to eat. Sorry, I got to say it was a woman. But she was out to eat and, you know, got food and everything, and she didn't want to tip the server. It wasn't even on me to pay. Like, she invited me out to eat and all that, and, you know. But when it came to tipping, she didn't want to tip. So, you know, I went in my pocket. I always carry cash just in case. And, you know, I tipped the service worker $15 just because she wasn't going to tip. And, you know, it was crazy. So anybody that delivers, even like a UPS driver, I tipped the mailman. We actually got a mail lady over here. And last time I seen her, I actually gave her like, I gave her like $5 just because I was just like, thank you for your service. And she didn't even want to accept it at first, but she was like, you know, thank you, young man. And, you know, so it was really nice. But shout out to this guy. I think this was a great story for us to end the day on, just to see that he put in 32 years of service. And the crazy part about it is the way that everything's changed throughout the years that he's been at UPS, kind of beginning to go through different periods. Like, there wasn't even cell phones when he started, basically. Like, there was, but there wasn't. Like, they were, like, attached to your car and all that, and they had, like, the big antennas that were, like, this high off the phone. You had to pull the antenna out just to get service. And I'll say another thing. This dude is extremely strong. It is not easy to do deliveries like that, getting in and out the truck, your back, lifting up heavy items, dropping them off. Like, this guy has had to carry, like, some very, very awkward items to people's door. And he absolutely should be celebrated. And shout out to everybody that is a delivery service person in the world. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are great people. And to y'all, family, y'all are excellent people. Y'all are the best audience in the world. Y'all are the best audience in the world. Let's see. I gotta go. Oh, but before that, so tomorrow's going to be a very fun show. Make sure you're here for tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. It's Halloween. It's going to be all Halloween based. I'm going to let y'all know what I'm going to do later on going into the night for my Halloween day. And I have a lot of really, really fun things planned for y'all. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the pet parents. Do better and stop neglecting your children, because I think it's absolutely disturbing the way that you're treating your children that you chose to have as pet parents. All right. Besides that, I'm out. Peace. Yeah! We got another one in the books. Makeup show on Saturday for the one we missed on Tuesday. We gotta do it. Do something fun tonight. It's Halloween Eve. Have some fun. Enjoy yourself. Have a good rest of your day. That's what I'm gonna do. y'all.